Hello guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel, traders. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. What did you get up to? Let me know in the comments. Hope you had a great time relaxing with family and friends. Maybe did some back testing. Would love to hear all about it. I myself, we had a pretty crazy weekend. We were supposed to go camping, but it got cancelled unfortunately due to wet weather. But we made the most of our weekend nonetheless. So here we are for a new week. So let's get on over to the calendar and see what we have ahead of us for the week. We have 10 a.m. news today. Not too often we get the 10 a.m. news on a Monday, or news on a Monday in general. So it's probably a good idea to let the news play out, see what comes into the market volatility-wise before seeking a position. Quiet day on Tuesday with no news, followed by Wednesday. We have plenty of news, but it's not till the PM. And then Thursday, we have 8:30 news with unemployment claims, and Friday, another quiet day. So a little bit of news through the week. We'll use that to our advantage, waiting for the news to play out where we need to, or we can just wait for the session opens to get into the market and look for a position. Let's head over to the charts and we'll start on NQ. Looking at the weekly, we had a nice strong weekly close above the previous week. We had a little bit of a shift here, which is nice to see. Now, what we want to see is potentially this. I like this as our draw, as our target. It's into a weekly bearish FEG as well. So it looks like a good level for price to want to run into. See how price reacts there. And so for that to happen, we want to see at least the 50% level of the previous week respected. So let's look for potentially Monday low, Tuesday low of the week, and then we can seek out the highs. Let's jump over to the daily, see what the daily has in store for us. Like the weekly, we had that nice close into a bearish FEG. Currently respecting the 50% level of the previous day's range. We haven't seeked out the high or the low of the previous day just yet. Looking at it, while we respect the 50% level here, then I'd be looking for previous day high as our draw. We are at opposing PD arrays here. So price came out of a bullish PD array. We did have that strong close into a bearish PD array here with the bearish daily FEG. So we'll see how today plays out, and then we can look to target. If we do get a move or a shift higher, then we can look to target this high here. Moving out on down to the hourly. Currently respecting this bullish PD array off the top of the opposing candles here. Which is also showing respect to this level here as well. This being a manipulation leg, I was looking for higher prices. Could use the height the low to the high here. There we go. And then look for a target area. We'll see how price reacts at this level. We do have a slight shift here, and we have respected this level as well. So I need to keep an eye on that out of this bearish FEG. So we're like on the daily, we're in, or was it the weekly? Sorry, the weekly, we're in opposing PD arrays. Let's have a look. It was the daily, yeah. So we're in a bearish PD array and we've come out of a bullish. So much the same here on the hourly. Opportune time to be patient and see where we get that shift. We get a close above this level here, then I'm looking for higher prices. Fail this level, I'm going to be looking for price to come. Probably seek out this low here, followed by this low potentially. Right now, I'm going to be neutral. It is Monday after all. I want to see how we play out a little bit, see what levels get respected here before looking to enter the market. And I'm happy to pivot as price shows me its hand. Let's jump over to ES. And a reminder too, guys, you can still get your Apex evals for 50% off using code Jimmy. And Tradeify still running their 40% off for new users and 30% off for existing users until the 15th of the month. And you can use code Jimmy Trades for Tradeify. Okay, the weekly. We're looking for this level to be our draw. We've had strong closure of the previous week. Weekly high, previous week's high, is essentially the low-hanging fruit. And we've come down, we've respected the 25% level so far of the previous week's range. So let's duck down to the daily. So we do have an SMT here. And price still respecting this bearish PD array. I'd like to see price shift and seek out this high, followed by this high. Let's see, we had some quite a nice shift here Wednesday last week, and then we got a balanced price range here with Friday engulfing the previous day's candle body and wick there. Down to the 50% level and reacting off that level at the moment. We'll see if price can hold up here. How do we look on the hourly? So hourly, we have started to get that a bit more of a shift on ES compared to NQ. We close through this level here as well. Out of that bearish FVG here. Still in this bullish one. So in a little bit of consolidation here between PD arrays. Like NQ, I want to see how price reacts. We get a closure above this level here. Then I'll be looking for price to run higher. We've got this closure here already, but we've had an immediate reaction there. So I want to see now, what does price do? Do we fail, fall under, continue to move lower, then we can seek out these lows. And these are the if-then statements we need to be asking ourselves. I prefer not to be rigid with bias. I'm happy to have the if-then statements. And of course, at that point, if my then is confirmed, then I'll shift and look for price to run in that direction. Like NQ, neutral for the time being. Let's have a look at oil on the weekly. Had a bit of a gap down there, didn't we? This low is the low hanging fruit. That's what I'm looking for. We've got on the weekly our swing point candle closure out of a bearish FEG. This will be continuation and expansion is what I'm looking for. Price, we want to see respecting this bottom 25% level. Can run up as high as the 50%, but then I anticipate price will run lower. So what I'm saying there is we're moving higher, potentially up into this level before we continue to move lower. You can see on the daily, we came out of this bearish FEG here. So we had another swing point candle closure. Obviously, there was a fair few sell orders that went in. We had a fair gap down there from close to open. About a 2.7% move lower. And obviously, looking at this, we've swept out previous week's low already. That's okay, because we're still looking at this being the low hanging fruit, this low here. Now, if we move to the hourly, we've got this gap. Gaps like to be filled. And that certainly looks like what we're doing at the moment. If we run the midpoint of the gap, you can see we're resting on that right now. I'll be watching this level to see how price reacts here. We could see Monday, Tuesday put in the high of the week before we move lower as well. So if price continues to expand here, we could see the high swept out here, this one here, and then look to move lower. I'm going to head into the week neutral. For oil, let's jump over to euro now. A lot of opposing penny raise across the assets at the moment. Here we are, we find ourselves coming out of a bullish FEG off a swing high with a swing point candle closure. We can normally anticipate expansion lower off of that. We did get that expansion. The most recent information is the bullish PD ray, obviously. You can see price is up at the 50% level there at the moment of the previous week. If we can't push through that level, then we'll seek out lower prices, looking for previous week low as our draw. Down on the daily, we have swing point candle closure out of this bearish FEG. Quite a large wick there, so I'm happy to use the 50% level of that wick to see how price reacts. At this level, I want to see price either respect or disrespect to give me an idea of where we're going. Moving into this bearish FEG once again. So this is still valid. We haven't closed through it. Here on the hourly, I've tested this bearish FEG a couple of times now. We're testing it once again. If we close above this level, potential shift higher. If we get that shift, I'll be targeting this high. We have a balanced price range through here. I can see how price reacted off that as well. So there's a little bit of work for price to do here if it's going to move higher. Continue to respect this level or this region, then we're going to push lower. We'll seek out Friday's low. We have this low resistance liquidity through here as well. Again, I'm just going to head into the market neutral. Moving over to gold. Just looking at these previous markups we had here, and it looks like that played out really, really nice. You can see that low resistance liquidity getting swept up here at the moment. I'll be targeting this high. It's quite bullish here for gold right now. Based on that hourly structure, the narrative and logic here, I'm looking at bullish. Let's push out to the weekly. Yeah, we've already moved well past the 50% level of the previous week's range, quite decisively as well. The next level will be the wick here and that 50% level. So previous week high is looking like we're going to draw to. That sees price wanting to push up to here. It's the Monday high. We had quite a sell-off last week. Now we've pretty much come into this bullish FEG. If we have a look at let's look at this chart for a second. You can see euro. We have an SMT through here. Okay. You can see that SMT. Equal lows, high low. Yeah, okay. So we're looking for that liquidity to be swept up the top here through these through these value swings, looking for this to be a draw. And this is the 50% level of the large wick from the weekly. Moving to the hourly again. We're going to probably gobble this up pretty quickly, I'd imagine. Can seek out these highs. So we'll be just watching to see how price reacts once we take this high here. We still have these smooth edges, relative equal highs through here to sweep out. Yeah, I like gold for longs at the moment. Was there any positions during London? I was a little Asia long here, breaker, retest the breaker. Nothing clean to kick off London, but we did get, a nice continuation trade here. We closed straight through these opposing candles and then expanded off of that. That would have been a nice little entry there. Very little drawdown. We've got in, if you market ordered in on the close of this 415 candle, stop at the low. And if you just targeted to, you weren't in that trade for very long. $30 maybe. And I mean, but literally, if you had higher targets or something you wanted to project, could have trailed even, even if you took it out to here, it's a 3-hour trade. Yeah, it's a great little trade, that one. Alrighty, Dixie, the weekly. We're pushing out of this weekly bearish FEG. We reacted straight off of that. Didn't quite close back inside the range of the previous candle, which would have been nice. Testing the 50% level of the previous week range as we move down. On the daily, I want to seek out, looking for previous day low into that bullish FEG. So see how price reacts there. And then if we can continue to move lower, look for a shift through this level here. I like this level. We've got no wick to the downside. It's a strong draw of liquidity. And then followed by the low down here. Neutral though. Inside opposing PD raise at the moment. Need to see that shift through this FEG here for a start. Jumping over to GU, the weekly. So here we have swing point candle closure. We swept out the high. We closed back inside the range. We have a bullish FEG below us. So we've got equal lows in here. Expecting the 25% level of the previous week's range at the moment. I'll be looking for price to run lower into this bullish FEG. I can see we had a shift here with displacement, the balanced price range as well. looking for this low here to be the low hanging fruit. If price reacts well off this, then we can see price move lower, taking out this low. I'm also going to run with the bearish bias here. I like the move we're getting here. And if it plays, then we're looking at price moving all the way down here. Let's have a look at the hourly quickly. A little bit of consolidation here right now. We do have a balanced price range here that price is currently respecting as well. So keep an eye on that. Okay, lastly, let's jump over to Bitcoin. Have a look at the weekly. Not a great candle to print on the week. Okay, we've closed back inside the range. Not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a closure on the daily, but I would like to have seen a closure above previous week high. That would likely see us push back into this into this bullish FEG here. On the daily, balanced price range, swing point candle closure. Yeah, I think we're going to push a bit lower here. Could see us now pushing down to this level. That's the bullish high I was looking for, the area I was looking for price to run into, but now we're starting to get a shift. If we close through this level, this is the level now that I'm looking at. If we close through here, likely moving down to here, back into the high 80s. Looking at this low initially to be taken out into this bullish FEG. I'm going to be neutral for today with Bitcoin because I want to see it close through this level for me to then have that bearish bias. I've already swept out previous day low here as well. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. Greatly appreciate you being here. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, share the channel far and wide, and make sure to keep up with us in Trade Foundry, where we live trade 4 days a week, sometimes 5. So be sure to jump over there. Link is in the description. We'll catch you in Trade Foundry. Bye for now.